everybody. Hope you're doing great. I wanted to share a few more things about, my bio. Where did we leave off? I think that was about how I discovered my gifts, and that was, through dreams, as I said, and then kind of losing it as a teenager because the world is, a place that we have duties and important things to do. Then, in my early 20s, I found a church, and that was full of mediums. And I was just so elated that I decided I wanted to try my hand at it again because they offered development classes. So I found a mentor, gradually just became my mentor, and that was Beatrice. Beatrice was from Great Britain, and she was a little teetotaling British woman, just like you would think as a medium would be. And Beatrice was she was amazing. She was amazing. The first reading she gave me, she puts down tarot cards. And at the end that I asked a question, I said, "You never really even looked at the cards, never even referenced them." And she said, "Oh, my dear, I just put them down so that people don't get scared." Because she brought in a childhood friend of mine who passed at 16. And that was just amazing. But the cards would never actually do mediumship like that. So from then on, I said, I want to see if I actually have a gift that I could pull out now. Maybe I'm mature enough to meditate. I'm still worried about life because I'm in my young adulthood, but for the most part, I could focus on this, and I did. And as I developed, they used to have psychic fairs every month, once a month. That was their church fundraiser. That's how we paid the rent. And the mediums that came, most of them were pretty good readers. I never thought I would do them. I mean, I just wanted to develop. I was hoping I'd have dreams again, is basically what was going on. But they said one day at a psychic fair, they said, "Listen, we're short one person. Could you just do one reading for us?" And I was like, okay, worst case, I guess, if I'm not good, I could ask them to give this person to someone else so that they got their money's worth. And it turned out the reading was pretty good. And I'm like, okay, I got through it. So as the person is standing up to say goodbye, they brought another person to sit. And it was just like, I just got gaslit before the term was even really popular. Yeah, so they just sat them down, introduced them to me, and just smiled and walked away. So that was another good reading. So I think I only did 2 that day. But from then on, I was indoctrinated into the psychic fair. And I was getting pretty good at it. And eventually, people started asking me for my business card. I'm like, I don't understand what business card. I don't do this for a living. Well, you should. That was the response. And, can I check in on you once in a while? Can I call you? Whatever. So I got business cards made. And I worked for a dentist at the time. And I was doing this on the weekends in a little enclosed porch that I had that I just sort of made up with a little bistro table, and made it all kind of cool fairies around. And it was a fun room. And I moved and at some point, and then started doing some phone readings because I moved from New Jersey to Virginia for a while, Northern Virginia, if anybody's asking. And people in New Jersey were asking me, like, "Can you do this on the phone?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." But eventually it was sort of like, because I had my own apartment at that point, and I was just like, you know what? Got to pay the rent. You better learn how to do it. So I did. And then I went on to video sessions, but nothing beats in person. I went back to New Jersey, and I guess I was in the dental field for about 6 years, and discovered I was making even money at that point just working on the weekend. And so I chose a little freedom, and I quit the field, and I just started doing this more full time. And I think over the years, I made some decent money. There's no doubt. It didn't matter. It was what I felt calling to. And I got interested also because of this church in certain religions. But I'll leave that there. Just sort of adding to my bio here. Leave it there for now. And I wanted to preface this video that I'm going to show you a series of clips, and I haven't edited it yet, so I don't really know if it's choppy or not, but if you have the background, then it will make sense. So my friend Tracy, as I mentioned in the last video, her son passed away, 33 years old. It was the end of April. The month before, we had the girls and we went to Gettysburg and had a great trip. We've all gotten a little closer because of Tyler's passing. And he has sent me a lot of messages. He sent a lot of messages to Tracy, and he's still sending messages to us. So Tracy wanted to develop a little further so she could make that connection stronger. And Tyler actually asked me if I could just do that, And yeah, absolutely, I'm there. It's a pleasure to work with her because she's already pretty gifted. She has done a lot of yoga. She is a professional musician. And all those are meditations. So she's pretty advanced as far as students that I've taken on in the past. So I need to meet her where she is, not, reinvent the wheel for her. And we just need to pump her up just a little bit more. So this video is about me going to her home, and we had a little sleepover. She only lives a couple miles away, but I didn't really feel like I wanted to leave at 11 o'clock to go home. We have really fun sleepovers anyway, just the giggling alone. So that's what this is about. And I may interrupt at some point if I need to bridge something or add something, okay? But without further ado, let's get to. I'll do the intro later. So let's just get right into it. So you were talking about your mom.
Yeah.
And the fear. And we were talking with the maid about the maid program.
Yeah.
And your mom and my mom both suffered with cancer.
Yeah.
What kind of cancer did she have?
Pancreatic, but it was the hormonal kind, not the aggressive.
So she fought hard.
She did.
It sounds so that, like, when she was feeling okay, that she also made every day count and stuff because she loved life.
I think so.
Anyway, so let's go back to why we're here.
Okay.
I know you have the ultimate goal to connect with Tyler without support and just knowing. I'm not working with an amateur here.
I've had experiences.
Have done lots of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that you're already a developed medium. You're
it's different.
You're a professional musician.
Yeah.
You already meditate, because like my first classes are about meditate.
Right.
And I'm going to give you homework and you're so far past that.
Yeah.
And I just think for you, we have to start with more of an advanced, thing. So
I understand things.
Yeah. So there's certain things that people are really good at and certain people that only have this talent. And so it's a buffet. Some people have multiple talents.
Right.
And I know that your end goal really is not necessarily the psychic stuff. You would really like to connect with the other side.
I guess trust myself, because when I was writing him the letter, I feel like he was talking to me and I could hear, but I don't. It's like, am I just making that up?
Well, I did tell you that the only thing that stands in your way is trust and practice. The trust is so hard, because so many people say, well, what if it's my imagination? Well, you know what? So what if it is? Because honestly, imagination and intuition are very related. So that's why it's so easy for people to dismiss it. Because, well, then you're just mad at
And I'm such a visual person.
No,
I can't even picture him.
Yeah, but there's this part that is, the difference. Even if one led you to the other, the difference of the message. And it's, it's just very like when you have a dream. The difference between just a regular
and a lucid.
I'm sitting at McDonald's eating a burger, and an actual visitation from your mom sitting at McDonald's with you.
Right.
Like, I woke up one morning And I there was nobody that wasn't going to tell me that I didn't just go shopping with my mom.
Right.
We went to 2 stores that we always went to and then had lunch. And I woke up during the lunch. And I'm like, oh no, she was so there. Like, why would I?
But do you think that's like the astral travel, that what I did when I saw my mom? I knew it wasn't a dream. I was awake the whole time. I knew I went. The scariness, all that happened.
Yeah.
I'm with her. She says a few words, and I come back and I jerk back in my body.
Yeah.
That was not a dream. So how do you know if you have have you astral traveled? Was that what you did when you saw your mom, or was it?
Or did you just dream that?
Or did you just have a lucid dream that
Yeah.
you were here? Or
But you could have. It could have been a real message in a dream,
right?
And your human brain wrapped it around what you could accept, and you always believed in astral travel. So why wouldn't you see that? It's very much like we talked about when somebody dies. If they worship the sun god,
they're going to see whatever they're going to see
first.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make it the reality.
Right.
But so I feel like it's interesting because everybody seems astral projection is so far out there, and I feel like it's like right.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's just
it can be in your same bedroom,
but you have to keep your consciousness awake in that state, and that's why I know it only ever happened to me at like 4 a.m. when you get up and you come back and you're in the state. But I knew I was awake because the things that happen are the huge noise, the jet taking off, the vibration. You feel like you're completely vibrating out of your bed. It's scary. It's very, very scary.
Yeah.
And I talk myself through, and let's go with this. Don't be afraid. And then I'm with her. So I knew I was awake. I knew this was happening because I know I'm even thinking that. And then when you come back, then you feel the jerk back, but you're awake the whole time.
And I've been jerked back into my body.
Yes.
I feel things in the bed.
Well, they say everybody does it, and the sleep paralysis happens.
But, the interesting thing is so many people think it's like out there.
Oh, no.
When I picture it, I feel like they come closer to us than we go out to them.
Oh.
Like they're right. Like my mother could talk to me like from right behind my ear.
Right.
And I don't often see floating with a silver cord. You know what I mean?
I haven't seen that, but the one time I had it that I freaked out and threw myself out of bed, I saw my legs up in the air. I could not put them back. And I didn't realize, because I'm like, why are my legs up in the air? Why can't I move them down? Because I was in the sleep paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally threw myself out the bed, and I couldn't sleep for a month after that. But I saw my legs up in the air, but yet I was covered.
Traveling except once, and I was in my 30s. So it's not something like just, I'm going to base anything on just one experience.
Right. Well, the first time I freaked out, so I didn't do it.
Yeah.
The second time, I went with it, even though it was scary. And then I sat on a bench with my mother at the spot.
Yeah.
And I did it one other time. I was trying to do it. And I was floating up and I couldn't see anything. And I could feel myself go through the ceiling. I mean, it was like there. And then John came in the room, sat a glass down. I went back. He got me out of it.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was pissed. Anyway.
That's why you're divorced.
So, it is, everybody can, I think, do it. It's just whether you're awake.
So when I'm talking about starting with you from an advanced place, we could start right there.
Yeah.
Like, how about if I were to say you need to try this twice a week? You don't have to succeed, but you keep putting the effort in. You might have a hit like every other time.
Right.
So,
right.
That's homework.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. And like, I was listening to a couple of these books with these things, spiritual things, and nobody talks about when you see somebody from beyond that is physically there in your space and you see them. Nobody talks about that. And I'm wondering, why can some souls do that? Is it an energy thing, or why can some do it and some can't?
Well, it is an energy thing, but here's one factor you might be overlooking. It's a two-way street. It's not always about why can't they do it. It's more, why can't we see it?
Yeah.
So it definitely overlaps. And if you don't, okay, so.
But I saw my uncle.
Yeah. But you were in the right time. It's like the perfect storm, the right time, the right place. If you were to see the veil, right? So from the veil from the other side, and you saw it as a sheer curtain, and you walked along on one side, and someone else walked along from the other side, and when you pass, there happens to be a hole in the curtain. So let's say the curtain's full of holes. It's just going to be, it's fate. It's when you were supposed to.
Right.
And I've been lucky to see a few apparitions.
You have?
Yeah. But they just go by so fast.
Well, my uncle sat there on my bed.
How long did it last?
I sat up. I said, "What are you doing here?" He smiled. I looked over around the room, looked at the clock. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't dreaming. I actually I said that out loud. I physically took my hand toward him, sitting there the whole time. And then I was feeling so much guilt about that I didn't see him before he died. And I felt it's like it lifted out all this guilt left. There was so much love. I've never felt anything like it. And then he was gone. And I never saw, but he's the one that you brought through and he said, I knew you'd be able to see me.
Oh, I did that?
Yeah. Because I came my first thing with you was to maybe connect with my mom, which didn't really happen, but he was there.
Isn't that interesting?
And he showed you every single thing about where we were, and that he stood behind you and winked and said, I knew you'd be able to see me.
It's funny because he's right over there now.
Oh, my uncle
pulled him in. What's his first name?
Harold. He was my mother's brother, and I worked for him. He was like a mentor to me.
Yeah, he's a very sweet person. Is he bald?
No.
Really? He keeps
wild. Oh, wild hair.
Oh, okay. So it's just the other extreme.
Oh, yes.
Okay, because sometimes I don't see them and they just point, and I could see pointing to the
see
head.
now my hair's standing up.
There you go.
He used to give Tyler the tokens because Tyler loved the car wash. My uncle owned the car wash. And he'd give us tokens because that was a big thing going through the car wash.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's an energy thing.
Yeah. So, just back to the original question. It is an energy thing. And they could use electric. They could use batteries. But most times it's more of a natural source.
Yeah.
So thunderstorms.
Yes.
Do readings in a thunderstorm.
Oh.
Because also make sure you put your crystals out here when the thunderstorm, or if it's going to rain, you need to cleanse them. That's the best way.
Okay.
Because then that energy of the thunder, the lightning.
I should get them out of my
We'll go into
my van. Yeah. Well, Olivia and Jolita had come back from one festival, and they had gotten into bed, and there was something at somebody's feet underneath the cover. It was a remote.
Oh.
So picked out the remote. This is right after they got back from old Tyler's week. And they always have these lights that come on around the TV. They have to come on, I guess, with the TV or something. And they always use pink or orange. Well, they found the remote under the thing. So then Olivia put the remote on the dresser. They didn't turn anything on. And then immediately the blue lights came on around the TV.
Wow.
The TV didn't come on. And then they're like, oh, come on. And then Jolita's like, message received. And then they just went off. It's like weird.
Cool.
It's
not just weird, it's cool. I mean, Tyler is a very strong spirit person.
I hope so.
And he's been trying to push down doors just to get everybody to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Visions in New York. You remember Bill Trivet? He did the same thing. He ended up, after he passed, he came right to me. He went to a serious number of people in the community.
He went to Margaret.
Oh, that's right. And he really didn't know him. She didn't know him that well, but she knew him.
Yeah.
And then when we get on Facebook and everybody would say, what happened, with Bill, as far as, and I was happy to hear from him.
Well, when the first time I met him, Margaret and I were going over together with the Johns, and we were in the back seat. And I never met him before. I've never been in a bookstore. And she said, hey, let's just do what do you see when you see this bookstore? We were just joking around.
Oh, yeah, we did that. Yeah, going into building.
And I said, well, I see this guy. I described Bill Trivet to a T bald. And then I described everything, and she's looking at me and kind of laughing, and she's going on. She thought it was so funny that I got all this stuff. We were just, it's like energy when we were together and we were doing something spiritual. I don't know. It was really interesting. I walk in there and there he is, you know.
It's crazy.
But I don't always, sometimes I see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like everything.
Yeah. Well, see, again, it's just
I know.
about energy. Like maybe one day you're picking up on more than others, and maybe you have more to work with.
Yeah.
But I really think that you can go as far as you want.
Yeah.
I really do. And I love the fact that your daughter is also in development.
She is.
And you two have so much to talk about.
Right. It's fun. It's really fun.
And maybe your other daughter will come on board. Who knows?
Well, she's going to a past life regression session sometime in July. Yes,
wow.
She is.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's reading. So.
Okay. Yeah.
She's reading the books. Yeah. She has cards.
She's doing readings.
She did pull a card out the other day. She's gotten her cards out. So.
Wow.
You know.
Well, why don't we go inside?
Yeah.
And we'll do our exercises then.
Okay.
All right. And we're not going to have to vlog that. That's more personal. Anyway.